I think that clients do look at video more and more holistically than they once did, so we don't have a separate line on a flowchart for television and then digital video. We look at it all as video. And part of that is because clients want to figure out what are the right assets that they need to have to then figure out what is the right distribution of those assets. So we look at it from is it still the traditional television distribution? Is it that same content online, and therefore we can look at it that way? And then is it distributing their short form video or long form video into other channels? So it is sort of as much more holistic today than it once was. But still, there is still a lot of talk about television, still driving a lot of the big broad reach that is established, but knowing that we can't stop there. There's too much of a gap in terms of what television used to deliver, in terms of total reach against a particular audience. So we need to look at other channels of distribution for video content, and that's where audiences are.
Yeah, so how do you reach those audiences? And you can, there's obviously there's a story of the viral video that's a big success, but for brands and their agencies who want to create what we'd call web original, either branded, that tells a message about a brand, how does that going, and sort of what are some sort of best use scenarios, and how do you get views and impact and measure that?
Well, I think particularly for us at OMD, so many of our clients are very, very concerned about the environment that their ads are running in the videos, in the broader video space. And so we look at the full episode players, so the television properties that we're in on TV, looking at them online. Then there's another tier of known, so it's really about knowing the places where we're going to end up. And there's a lot of original content that's being developed for the web. And then there's the third tier, which is really programmatic distribution of our video content in places that, yes, known places where the video is going to end up, where the content is going to end up, but we're buying more from an audience standpoint as opposed to a specific environment standpoint. So we're looking at it sort of in three tiers, of the entry point in being the content that we buy on television, but that being distributed online, and then new and original content made specifically for online placement or digital placement. And then the third is a much broader mix of that, but distributed more from an audience standpoint as opposed to a specific environment. The upfronts are going well from our standpoint. I don't know if the networks would agree with that. I think that we will end up seeing the U.S. upfront total spend being slightly down versus a year ago. And I think that is just, again, this natural progression of more and more viewing shifting to other distribution formats and more people watching different content, not only the television content that we see on television, but other video content. And so the dollars are following where the audience is. But we're probably halfway done. We're pretty much done with the broadcast networks and then working with the cable networks now.
Have things changed in terms of decisioning around the upfronts or buying, or is it sort of pretty much the same?
Well, it's certainly again looking at all the programming that a network is offering as what is going to be their fall and their mid-season programs that will be introduced on air, and looking at what all of our clients need and are looking for. Again, while we are buying rating points and impressions, it is still also driven by the environments of the programming that is out there. And the ratings are still dropping, unfortunately. However, a lot of the live programming, sports in particular, big entertainment programs, that audience is still holding. So there's more and more of that in a lot of our plans and our mixes, so that we can, and that just also drives cultural cachet and cultural conversation. So that element is very important in the mix as well.